Hello, everyone. It's Dr.SHIVA Ayadure. Welcome. We're going to be having a very interesting conversation, a very brief one, on the systems dynamics of what I call 0nist ockZuckery. It may seem like a harsh term, but we have to deal with the realities of what's going on right now in the United States. Some of you may know that Mike Johnson, who is the House of Representatives Speaker of the House, is essentially driving the entire effort on behalf of the swarm of the United States to make sure that the entire United States bows down to Zionism. That's what's going on. And again, those of you joining, I'm going to share from a systems perspective, the systems dynamics of what I call 0nist ockZuckery. And as a part of that, I want to begin by playing for you guys a video that I did, as an interview that was clipped by a number of people and it went viral essentially throughout the world. So I want to play that for you, and I want to really talk to you about why I use those harsh words and why there's a systems reason for it. So if you guys go up to Twitter and you look up, one of the tweets I did several months ago, you'll find you'll find this very interesting video response I gave in an interview with part of one of the GOP debate parallels that we did. So that's what I want to talk about. And so let me just play that video for you because it'll help you unravel and understand where I'm coming from before I share with you this multi-layered systems diagram of what's actually going on in the United States, how all of these presidential candidates, except me, is owned by Zionism. And the entire hijacking that's taking place here in the United States is that America is occupied, which I've talked about. So I want to share that with you with a couple of diagrams to go through this with you. But let me just, before I go there, I just want to play this answer I gave to someone on what distinguishes me in a significant way from every of the other candidates. So let me just bring this up, and you can find it on Twitter. And I'm going to play it for all of you right now. Let me bring it up right here. Okay, so it's a pretty harsh response, but I think it went viral all over the internet. Everyone really enjoyed it because it's in a very frank and honest and truthful way. I'm sharing what makes me unique among all these other presidential candidates. So let me share this with you. I have to undo the sound first. Let me undo the sound so you guys can hear it. Here we go. Every presidential candidate except me sucks Zionist cock. That may not sound presidential, but in fact, it's very presidential because I represent the American worker who does not want us to be cocksuckers of Zionism. Donald Trump sucks Zionist cock. Nikki Haley sucks Zionist cock. Vivek the Snake sucks Zionist cock. Chris Christie, Booby fucking Kennedy, Joe Biden, all of these people. The only people that don't suck Zionist cock are the American workers who are being screwed. I'm an American worker. I'm one of us. But Donald Trump is no different than any one of them. They all serve Israel. Bernie Sanders, for example, is an Israeli citizen. Anthony Blinken is an Israeli citizen. The head of the CDC is an Israeli citizen. All of these people are Israeli citizens. All of these people work together against the American working people. There's a lot of liberal Zionists who are out there saying ceasefire, peace now. I've seen that for 40 years. It doesn't get us anywhere. All that ceasefire does is let Israel pull back, then go bomb the shit out of the Palestinians again. The only way to end this is we must end the occupation. Ending the occupation means beginning with ending the occupation of America by Zionism. Zionists have taken over every seat of power of the United States. If we're going to free Palestine, we must end the occupation of America by Zionism. If there's anyone who should get military aid, it should be the Palestinian people. I'm not talking about Hamas, by the way, all those morons who think Hamas represents the Palestinian people. Hamas was created by Israel. So when you see Hamas, replace it with Israel. We need to build a bottoms-up movement. Go to shivaforpresident.com and volunteer. All right. So I wanted to share that with all of you because that was a statement that I put out. I think a few weeks after October 7th. So when you really delve into this, what's also been interesting is that in December of this year, Mike Johnson, a rabid, quote unquote, a Christian Zionist, he's a Zionist,
to me, Christian Zionism is a moronic destruction of Christianity. I don't think Christ would have been the Zionist by any means, right? So Christian Zionism is a complete hijacking of Christianity. But Mike Johnson, a rabid nut job Christian Zionist, became the House of Representatives. And the first thing he did, the Speaker of the House, is he passed a resolution which basically said, if you say anything against Zionism, that means you're anti-Semitic, right? They equating anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. As many of you know, many of the videos I've shared, educated people on, makes a very clear distinction that Zionism is racism in the service of imperialism, and the distinction between anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism. And those videos were very, very effective. We educated millions of people, hundreds of millions of people all over the world. Now, you have to understand, this equating of anti-Zionism to anti-Semitism was actually originated by an executive order by Trump in 2016, 2017. So Trump is the biggest Zionist of them all. All right. Then about a month ago, the House of Representatives passed a bill, near unanimous, but 70, 80% of them, 310 to like 70 or something, basically saying that they will adopt the definition of anti-Semitism pursuant to the Israeli Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, IHRA, which is again a nut job, massively pro-Zionist organization. So that's been put into a bill which could become law in the United States. And that means you cannot say anything against the state of Israel. It's quite repugnant. It's against the First Amendment. It's fascist. And that was supported by a massive set of both Republicans and Democrats. And what you see really happening is openly the so-called right-wing evangelical Christian fundamentalists and the liberal left, the woke liberal left, are all coming together to essentially prop up Zionism, which is racism in the service of imperialism, which is anti-American. More importantly, a week ago, the same nut job, Christian Zionist hoodlum, Mike Johnson, invited in a one-page letter Netanyahu, Satan himself, to address a joint session of Congress. And, His Excellency, if you read the letter, His Excellency Netanyahu. And when you look at that letter, you see it acting as though Hamas is some agent that's completely outside of Israel. And a few Google searches will reveal to you that Hamas was created by Israel many years ago, funded through their proxy in Qatar. Everyone with any common sense can know that the attack on October 7th was clearly a Mossad event precipitated between Israel and coordinated with Hamas, okay? And the fundamental reality is that Zionism loves Islamic fundamentalism, just like Nazism loves Zionism, just like Brahmanism loves Islamic fundamentalism and fanaticism. All these ultra-right or ultra-left, whatever you want to call them, or ultra-religious groups, all like the other so-called oppositional ultra versions of themselves, because they can use that to galvanize others who are sort of innocent bystanders. And this is what's going on. So Zionism loves anti-Semitism, fanatical Hinduism loves Islamic fundamentalism, and on and on and on. You can see this pattern, okay? But we, the people, are always manipulated by this. And by the way, you go back to quote-unquote Christian Zionism is a fictitious, made-up nonsense, which has manipulated 70 million Americans, at least 10 times more Americans, Christian Zionists, or Zionists than even Jewish Zionists, okay? So this is what's going on, all right? And all of this is being done to maximize power, profit, control by the swarm. And you can see them coming together step by step by step. So I'm the only candidate that comes bottoms up from the people, like all of us, who has called this out. And even the so-called Free Palestine movement is infiltrated by Zionists, liberal Zionists, because they don't really want to shine the real issue on the beast here, which is the occupation of America by Zionism. Okay. America is what's occupied. Yes, Palestine has been occupied, but the occupation of Palestine would not be possible without the occupation of America. So if we want to really free Palestine, we have to free America. We have to end the Zionist occupation in the United States. I'm the only one who will give you that deep analysis because I take a systems approach, which is what we train everyone to do. If you take a systems approach, you always go to the root of the problem and then you get to the real solution. So let me just share with you, to summary, this diagram, which sort of summarizes it all, and you'll see it right here. Let me go back to it. And this diagram will really share with you what I mean by the Zionist cocksuckery, okay? Because that's what's really going on. Ultimately, if you read Mike Johnson's letter, he pays homage to this guy, Netanyahu. Why is Netanyahu, this butcher, this genocidal maniac, being invited to speak to the joint sessions of Congress? Why is that? You have to really ask that. And if you read the letter, let me see if I can bring this up. The letter inviting Netanyahu by Mike Johnson, to speak, right? Let me find this, to speak joint session of Congress. It's quite a really, really screwed up letter when you look at it. I see if I can find it here. And the letter, I'll find it here, but the letter fundamentally reveals how much that the American people are being bamboozled to essentially also be part of the Zionist cockzuckery, okay, as I like to call it, okay? That's what this is all about, to ensure that we, the American people, become slaves to all of this, okay? That's what this is about. And so you have to really wonder, why is Netanyahu being invited to the United States? So let me bring up this letter. So let's bring up this letter. Here's what the letter has in it. Let me bring up this letter. And this is what the letter says. And everyone should really read this letter. Okay, let's see. Oops, let me go back here. That's the link to the letter, but let me actually bring up the letter, okay? So here's a letter, and let's go through it. Now notice it says, His Excellency, Benjamin Netanyahu. His Excellency, okay? And that's an honorific that they do, but His Excellency, let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys can all see it. And it says, Dear Prime Minister, last year Congress was proud to host Israeli President Isaac Herzog, another Zionist Satan, in Washington to celebrate 75 years of friendship and partnership between our two democracies, less than, quote unquote, democracies. Less than 3 months later, the horrific attacks of October 7th shocked the world and forced our nation into a fight for its forced your nation into a fight for its very existence. We join the state of Israel in your struggle against terror, especially as Hamas continues to hold Americans and Israeli citizens captive and its leaders jeopardize regional stability. Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget Hamas was created by Israel, all right? And these people with hand gliders, whatever, come over in supposedly one of the most insanely secure fortresses. For this reason, on behalf of the bipartisan leadership of the United States House of Representatives, the United States Senate, we'd like to invite you to Congress to address a joint meeting of Congress. And that's a massive honorific, okay? The existential challenges we face, including the growing partnership between Iran, Russia, and China, threaten the security, peace, and prosperity of our countries and a free people around the world, to build on our enduring relationship and to highlight American solidarity with Israel. I'm not in solidarity with Israel. Are you? I'm not. So I don't know what America is talking about. I think he's talking about the Zionist, quote unquote, Zionist, Christian Zionists, and the elites of America. We invite you to share the Israeli government's vision for defending democracy. Can you believe this? We invite you to share the Israeli government's vision for defending democracy, combating terror, and establishing a just and lasting peace. First of all, Israel does not defend democracy. The Israeli government is a fascist government. They're the ones who unleash terror, and they're the ones who do not want any peace in the region. And you can see who signs it. You know, an Uncle Tom here, a rabid Zionist hoodlum here, Charles Schumer, again, the right, the left, and the right, Mike Johnson and Mitch McConnell. So think about this letter. this is brought to you by both wings of the swarm. Both wings of the swarm are supportive of, both wings of the swarm are inviting, on behalf of all of us, Satan to come address the representative organ of the United States government, which is supposed to represent us. So that organ does not represent any of us. That organ represents, so when we say America, when we say the United States, we should realize there are two Americas and two United States. The America and the United States of us working people, you and I, and then the America and the United States of the Zionist cocksuckers and those people who essentially bend over and suck Zionist cock. That's what we're talking about. That doesn't include all of us. But they want to manipulate this to conflate the American people with the swarm, and we should not allow it. I'll play you a video of the swarm before. If you haven't seen it, everyone should see it. Every man, woman, and child on this planet should see the swarm video, because it'll really educate you on how the few are controlling the many, how the few, the 0.001% control the 8 billion, and that is through using very powerful knowledge of how systems work. And I'll get to that. But let me go back to this analysis that I put together, very simple one. But if you think about it, it's a multi-tiered model. So you have this guy who essentially owns Congress, okay? 99% of Congress is owned by Zionism. An organization called AIPAC owns, and a number of other Zionist lobbies own Congress. If you want to be a member of Congress, you must suck Zionist cock. All right, let me repeat that again. If you want to be a member of Congress, you must suck Zionist cock. They'll keep a few people around to give the illusion of democracy, but when push comes to shove, they too will suck Zionist cock. Okay? For example, Thomas Massie acts like he's against Zionism. Well, he was praising Trump all day long. He's endorsed Trump, loves Trump. Well, Trump's the biggest Zionist cocksucker. Okay? So understand what I'm saying. So it's all an illusion. Don't get manipulated by any of these people. But when we go back to this diagram, it's the Netanyahu is being invited. It's a major honor to speak to the entire members of Congress, which are our representatives. I didn't invite. Let's take a vote. How many people want Netanyahu to come and speak? I would bet you he would lose hands down in a landslide. Okay. But that's who they've done, our so-called representatives. They're inviting Netanyahu to speak to the joint members of Congress. Then this clown, the so-called Republicans, who supposedly stand for free speech and defending the Constitution, are the biggest Zionist cocksuckers. Okay, that's COCKZUCKERS, cocksuckers. Okay, for the censors out there. Okay, that's a new word that I created. All right, so you have these douchebags who are also sucking Zionist cock, Jordan and Mike Johnson, so-called Republicans who support the Republic and the freedom of speech. These douchebags are the ones who passed the bill in Congress, which equates anti-Zionism to anti-Semitism. And if you say anything against the state of Israel, your funding is going to be cut. If you're a small school or any kind of school, you won't have a chance to speak anywhere. So that's brought to you by the so-called Republicans of Donald fucking Trump. All right. Yeah, I'm upset, and you should be also. And you should all curse at this. All right. That's not true. Someone says, no, Massie was defending Trump's, oh my God, poor guy was convicted. Well, he was convicted on 34 counts. Meanwhile, raised $250 million. Massie is their token constitutionalist. Okay. Because they keep him around, you have faith in this Congress. Don't do that. Massie, if he had any guts, if he were a true American, would leave the body of Congress and would fight and build a movement, but he's not doing that. It's not what he's doing, okay? All right. Yeah, the trial was not BS. The trial was an indictment of Trump, and it says that crime pays. Hunter Biden, Joe Biden does crimes. The swarm can get away with lies. Anyone who gives Trump $1 is a fucking moron. All right? He raised $250 million. Don't you understand, Marco? Let me put this guy up. This is all WWE. What they're doing is WWE wrestling. The Democrats and Republicans decide to quote unquote convict Trump. He's not going to get convicted. And the poor white American working class, they give him money. People who don't even have $400 in their bank account are giving Trump money. Ridiculous, stupid, okay? So please do not think Trump is working for us. Trump works for himself. I've met with him 2 times. He stole all my work and raised $500 million on election fraud, and he did nothing. So I know these people, all right? So don't be dumb. It's time to get your head out of your ass. Do not think these guys are working for you, okay? So this is what's going on. So the second layer of this is the entire House is owned by Netanyahu. All the House and the Senate are owned by Netanyahu and the forces which control Netanyahu, okay? Now, you have the Congress and the House, and then you have these guys, okay? You have Biden, who's a Zionist cocksucker. You have Trump, one of the biggest Zionist cocksuckers. They bailed him out. Trump has been bailed out so many times by Zionist cocksuckery, they own him. It's pure WWE. Do not think Trump is anti-establishment. That is pure acting. He is there. He gets pushed in the media. You know, he comes out of his trial and he says, oh, this DA is a Soros plant. Well, Trump took $150 million from Soros, okay, to build this building in Chicago. He's a Soros plant. It's all theater, guys. All right. Bottom line is you have Zionist cocksucker there, Zionist cocksucker there, Zionist cocksucker over there, and Booby, that's why his throat hurts, whether it be DeSantis, and you have all these presidents who've been zucking Zionist cock for a long time. This is what we have. These people, this is this layered architecture, but all reports up to Israel. The Congress reports up to Israel, any presidential candidate or president reports up to Israel, and they want the American people to be finally carrying Zionist flags. That's what this is about. They want to do this, okay? That's what this is about. So we become slaves to Zionism. That's what this is about. Yes, Trump took $100 million from Sheldon Adelson's wife. Right. And he got that money right after his conviction. You guys understand that what they're doing is they know that the power of the underdog. We all love underdogs. Well, you're looking at a real underdog. I came from nothing, created the first email system, had to struggle to share the facts about my inventing email against a military industrialist complex. I'm the real underdog, but they don't want real underdog stories to come out. So they make fake underdog stories because they know the power of the underdog. Trump ain't no fucking underdog, guys. He's a bullshitter. He's a fake underdog. The Kennedys are not underdogs. You see, they know you are an underdog. I'm an underdog. They're not. So they sucker you into believing they're underdogs. And that cockzuckery is to make sure ultimately that the American people all wave Zionist flags. This is what the goal is. Just think about what I'm saying here. You cannot be president of the United States unless you suck Zionist cock. Every congressman. This is what it's about. And I want you guys to really think about this. This is what the world has become. And these people do not serve you. I'm the only presidential candidate who does not suck Zionist cock. Period. Jill Stein, she's a liberal Zionist cocksucker. Okay? Bernie Sanders is suddenly saying something against Netanyahu. Bullshit. It's all bullshit when they say it because of all part of this system. So, yeah, someone said Shiva is from Jersey. He knows how Zionists work. Exactly. All right. The bottom line is this, guys. Do you want to be free or do you want to be on the plantation? Our movement, my run for president, is about getting you off the plantation. But if you want to be on the plantation of Zionist cocksuckery, then please go vote for these guys. And this is what's going to happen. America will become this. All right? All of us. So when they say America, they're talking about their America. Okay? They're not talking about our America. The America of hardworking people who do not believe racism, who do not believe in racism, who do not believe in Zionism, which is anti-American. So we have a huge opportunity with my run for president. Now, they may steal elections. They may, quote unquote, win elections. But when you vote for me and you get involved in our campaign, we will win the war and we'll shatter the swarm. That's what this is about. So don't be some dumb idiot saying, well, I don't know if Dr. Shiva can win. That has nothing to do with it. When you get one of our bumper stickers, Jason, give me one of our bumper stickers. Ken, when you get one of our bumper stickers and you put it on the back of your car, you're making a decision. And you can go to Shiva for President to do that. When you get you're making a decision that you want to get off the plantation. And that's what our movement, My Run for President, offers you. A chance to be a principled human being, not to be an opportunist. Oh, I got to vote for the lesser of two evils. Oh, I got to vote for Trump. He's our hero. Bullshit. But when you get one of these, or, there's two of them here. When you get one of these bumper stickers, and you can get it right there, and you put it on the back of your car, you're saying, I've made a decision that I want to be off the plantation. So when you vote for Dr. Shiva for president, you're saying, I want to win the war, the long game, which is to get off the plantation. I know they steal elections. I'm running in this election so you guys can see the difference between what a real leader looks like from one of us versus them. That's what this is about. So you got to make a decision. Do you want to be a Zionist cocksucker? That's what you got to make the decision. Do you want to be a principled human being? Or do you want to make, these decisions? Oh, he sucks a little bit less Zionist cock than that guy. Okay? They all suck Zionist cock, and they want to subjugate the American working people. You know why? Because they don't work for a living. I do, you do. So that's what this is about. Someone says, I will support you for the next 4 years because I do things much differently. Yep. So that's what we need. We need you guys to not think about their fake elections. Think about taking a real stand. Think about taking a stand. Think about it. We want to win the war and shatter the swarm. And when I say shatter the swarm, if you don't know what shattering the swarm is, what I mean by the term swarm, well, I did a video, and you guys can all find it. Let me take it to you right. You can find it on truthfreedomhealth.com, which is our website for this global movement. And all of you should go there, take the course, and become a Truth Freedom Health warrior. But if you go here, you will find this video here, which is called Shatter the. Good evening, everyone. It's Dr. Shiva for you guys, because you all need to listen to this video. It's about 15 minutes, but just sit back and listen, because this video will change your life, because this will let you know how the few control the many. Watch this very carefully. So let me play this for you, and I hope you really, really study this, and I'll be right back. We got a couple more things we got to talk about, but let me go here. Good evening, everyone. It's Dr. Shiva. How a very small set of people control 8 billion people. This is what I call the elites. Let's say there's about 10,000 of them. How is it these people are able to manipulate the 8 billion people here? If you talk to a lot of naive people, they think, oh, it's the Rothschilds over here, or it's the aliens. They don't understand. It's not any one individual. It's not any one organization. There's something called swarm intelligence. If you watch all those birds flying together, not any one of them is in control. They move together as a unit. They're closely knit. They're quote unquote telepathic, but they move with a singular goal. The goal of the elites here is power, profit, and control. This is the goal. So if we look at it from a control system, what are the inputs they're sending into this system to achieve their goals? And what is the output that they seek? So if you're an elite over here and you're looking at those 8 billion people, how do you know you're achieving your goal? Are people getting fat, meaning unhealthy? Are people getting dumb, which means ignorant? Are people happy, which means are they being entertained? Are people divided? Are they isolated, disconnected? They don't want people here connecting with each other. Are people feeling helpless? Are people looking to the elites to save them? And they like that. They like when people here are looking to them, the enemy here, for their saviors. They really love that. They want people to be disorganized, and they definitely want people to be helpless. This is what they want. If you do not want to unite among people here and find who your own leaders are from below, they are quite happy. They're achieving their goal. Power, profit, and control. Now, how do they do this? You're going to realize it's not any one group. It's an interconnected, tightly knit group. They're all closely interconnected. In fact, they all go to the same restaurants. They have all their kids going to the same equestrian shows. They all shop at the same place. They all go to the same parties. You're not part of that. So who are these people? And what are the institutions of power that they have? Well, first of all, they have academia. Harvard, Oxford, Yale, MIT, IIT in India, the top 100 university presidents. These people are on on boards of companies, but it's about 100 people who run the major universities in the world. NGOs, or nonprofits. These are people who run these huge nonprofit organizations like the Clinton Global Initiative, WEF, World Economic Forum, Center for Foreign Relations. And there's many other institutions like these, but it's the CEOs of these institutions. And these guys know each other. They definitely work together. The next thing you have is you have government, US senators, prime ministers of countries, advisors to government, think tanks, the Belfer School at Harvard, the Stanford Internet Observatory. They created the censorship infrastructure. This includes CIA, right? Intelligence organizations. And again, all these people know each other. They're interconnected. They're a swarm. They're tightly knit. They're not divided like these people over here. They're not disconnected. They're highly interconnected. So these people are focused on power. But then you also have a whole nother people, the CEOs of the global 2000 companies, other big organizations like big pharma companies, Pfizer, big agriculture companies like Syngenta, big investment companies, JP Morgan. You put Deutsche Bank here. You put Epstein down here. Okay. He was involved in all this. You also have the Fed, the central banks. All these people party together. When I say party together, I mean literally they party together, guys. Absolute close-knit friends. And in fact, the CEO of a global 2000 company will easily move to one of the investment companies down here. If you look at Target, big companies like Anheuser-Busch and Exxon, you'll find that at one point they were in one of these investment companies, and these investment companies sit on the board of these companies and they shuffle back and forth. So this is all about making money, right? These people are about making the dollar. These people are all about power. This is profit. And then fundamentally, you have control. Hollywood over here. This includes celebrities. You have their agents, Hollywood agents, like Ari Emanuel, as I've talked about, who's a guy who controls most of Hollywood. He controls Worldwide Wrestling Federation, the MMA, etc. The media companies. This includes Disney, Viacom. This includes now Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. These are large media companies. Google, you can put in there also. You also have big news stations, CNN, Fox. And combined with this, now we have another group, social media influencers. This is like Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, these characters who have come in, but they do not exist without support from these guys. If you notice, overnight, a bunch of social media influencers have come out of nowhere. And these people are created by these people. So when you look at this, the academics, the NGOs, the government, the think tanks, the investment companies, the Fed, the big pharma, the CEOs, the Hollywood celebrities, media, social media influencers, and the news companies, and you can even take the top 10 of each one of these, they all know each other, everyone. And in order to manipulate these people, they need front men to manipulate these people with policies. Because what comes out are policies. These are the inputs they put into the system, propaganda. They feed these people purposely, people who they tell them are going to save them, like the Elon Musks or Trump or the Kennedys. Now, who are the people part of the swarm that does that? They have the obvious establishment. And these people are like the Clintons or the McConnells or the Obamas or the Bushes or the Queen of England. Typically people say, oh yeah, those guys are part of the establishment. But one of the things we teach at Truth Freedom Health, the most insidious people are what I call the not so obvious establishment. These are the people that are created to make sure that the 8 billion people look to the elites to save them. Trump, he's got a golden toilet. Mar-a-Lago, Kennedy's, completely bogus family. You can look at historically people like Gandhi or people like MLK. These people all came and were endorsed by the swarm. These people do not exist. They live in Malibu. They live in the places of the elites. And these people are the ones that are used to send the inputs of this controller. In system science, these are the controllers. These are the people controlling the inputs that go in. And remember, their goal is to make sure people are in the state of division, disconnection, and helplessness, particularly. They're observing all this. They have their sensors. And one of the features that they notice is that as long as people are in dysfunction and diseased mentally, physically, emotionally, they're happy. Well, what are those diseases these days? We see obesity. We see endocrine disruption, men with low testosterone and people questioning their sexuality. We also see people with cancer. The world's population's life expectancy is going down. The United States is going this way, and this is from 1980 to 2020. They like this. This is life expectancy. In fact, when they see dysfunction, you know what they do? They put another input in, which is normalize the dysfunction. Eat sugars and high fructose food. Well, over here, people have been literally getting fat. It's led to obesity. Or they've been putting in foods that are affecting people's gut microbiome. This is what I call from policy to biology. People are getting worse and worse. They're actually making more money because the obesity now creates obesity drugs. The endocrine disruption
disruptors. Let's talk about this. This will really explain what's going on with Bud Light. About 20 years ago, there was research done at the universities that clearly showed the use of restricted use pesticides like atrazine and other chemicals in the atmosphere actually cause endocrine disruption, which could reduce male testosterone, which could also affect mammals where the sex organs can change. And this was done by the work of Tyrone Hayes. So if you're over here at a university and you find out one of your researchers discovered that, and you are playing golf with people over here at Syngenta is the one who produced atrazine, they're going to say, hey, man, we don't want this research coming out, because you have to understand something. The investment community here is investing in all of these companies. So if you're one of these large investment companies, you're moving trillions of dollars, $600 trillion, by the way, move through the economy every day. You as one of the elite managers of money, you're moving all this money. You know all of these people. You know the CEO of Target, you know the CEO of Anheuser-Busch, you know the CEO of Pfizer and Syngenta. And imagine that you see, wow, the stuff that we've been creating is causing sexual disruption changes. You're seeing a phenomenon where more and more people are questioning their sexuality. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that the general public doesn't understand this, because if they did, they would awaken to something that's going on from the decisions you made. So you call up your friend, Bud Light, he goes, hey, look, let's run a campaign. Let's normalize trans. Let's exploit a willing person to be exploited like this Dylan Mulvaney. Let's put them on as a poster boy for Bud Light, and let's push them out there, because we want the attention to normalize a dysfunction, because the goal is to make sure they don't lose their trillions over in Syngenta. They're willing to take $1 billion hit over here, but they want to save their trillions in Big Pharma and Big Ag, because they're all part of the same family. They all do favors for each other. And then again, you would go do it at Target. You try to normalize it, because you don't want people over here to understand the bigger picture. But you are interconnected. You could strike deals left and right. Let's do a marketing campaign in here. Let's normalize. Same thing if you can look at what's going on in obesity. All these pharma companies are making big money from obesity drugs, but there's movies on Netflix and Amazon promoting fat people as a norm. What's happening over here, you have people who are pro-fat and people who are anti-fat people. You have people who are pro-woke and anti-woke, and they don't care. So you have a bunch of these idiots writing books against woke companies and anti-woke companies. You have people creating apps, only shop at anti-woke companies, don't go to woke companies. But you guys understand that these guys don't give a damn? They're making money anyway. The investment bankers are going to make money from woke companies and anti-woke companies. But what's occurring here is people are being divided. These guys are happy because they're inputting policies and propaganda. People here are being divided, and that is the goal, to achieve power, profit, control. So as long as these people work together as a swarm to control the policies and the propaganda, and they provide false heroes, and they're using the Trumps, the Kennedys, and Gandhis, all of them who talk a big game, their goal is to make sure that you never understand this, that you keep thinking, oh, Kennedy's going to solve the problem. Trump is going to solve the problem. They don't want you to be leaders in your own communities. They want you to outsource your future to people like Trump or Kennedy, because they're part of the swarm. And you keep getting more unhealthy, more ignorant, more entertained. But most importantly, you are divided. People here don't organize themselves to smash these people up. And this is the history of human oppression. They have it down to a system, a goal. They have a controller. They have specific inputs. And they manipulate billions of people to achieve this state. They produce dysfunction. They don't give a damn if you die. The life expectancy in the United States, your children are going to die sooner than you. And they've achieved their goal. They don't give a damn. Do you understand? These people are eating organic foods. They get the best restaurants. They get the best insurance. They get the best healthcare. And this is what they want to achieve. And that's how they're controlling people. The other way they're controlling you is they want you to keep looking to the elites like Trump and Kennedy and all these people to save you. They want you to look to the swarm. They do not want you to ever support a Malcolm X or a Dr.SHIVA or you. They don't want you to become leaders. And this is a goal. As long as you're divided, as long as you're looking over here, you're going to achieve their goal of power, profit, and control. So what's the way out? How do we win? The first way we win, everyone's got to be aware of the science of systems. Without this understanding, there are goals, there are controllers, there are systems, there are intelligences, there are dumb systems. You are never going to break out of this, because you will think everything is, oh my God, we got to talk about aliens and UFOs and flat earth or this. All those may be interesting topics, but they don't come down to the fundamentals of understanding this. And the only way out of this is people here have got to understand the principles of system science. And the good news is you can learn this at Truth Freedom Health. So first of all, learn these principles at Truth Freedom Health. That's the only place. This is my gift to people. We've made it accessible to all your children. Any person who goes through the course, you can give it to your children. Anyone can learn this. But the goal is go to Truth Freedom Health and you will understand the science of systems. So we've created that weapon. And with this weapon,
this is a hammer here. We have a way to smash this swarm. But without the understanding of this, without you understanding this system science, without you understanding the knowledge of systems, you will never break out of this. Please volunteer. Go to shivaforpresident.com, volunteer. And by the way, when you donate, I don't like to take people's money for nothing. I give you books and courses and access to the entire community at truthfreedomhealth.com. So please take advantage of that if you want to donate. But if you don't want to donate, volunteer. We're going to be getting on the ballot in all the states. So we need people on the ground. So go to Shiva for President, numeral4president.com, and volunteer, volunteer, volunteer. Our campaign is about mobilizing you. We have a whole program that we want to train you to be a leader. So we get connected. We're no longer helpless. We stop looking to these fools like Kennedy and Trump and all these other people, because where have they gotten us? They're part of the system to increase power, profit, and control. This is why a small set of people, the elites, to keep getting richer and richer off the backs of people. This is why these people are able to control you, because they make you disconnected and divided in a very, very systems way. This is the science of systems that they're using. There's about 10,000 people that learn this science. This is not accidental, everyone. What I'm here to tell you is once you understand the engineering physics here, we can smash these people and make a society where people are decentralized but connected. We're no longer divided, but we're united with the interests that we have to face their propaganda and destroy them and to no longer follow false heroes. And that's what this is about. Because the way we're going now, as I've talked about, those in power want to kill you. It's not a hyperbole. They want to kill you. The movement for Truth, Freedom, Health and our campaign for Shiva for President is about making sure you live long and prosper. And the only way to do it is you have to become aware of this, recognizing that there's a systems process. Fortunately, truthfreedomhealth.com exists. I wish I didn't have to go do this. In fact, our parents should have done this first. But anyway, Truth, Freedom, Health exists. Our campaign exists. So go to shivaforpresident.com, become a volunteer, become a warrior scholar, truthfreedomhealth.com. Every Thursdays at 11 a.m. and at 8 p.m. I do a open house, and we have our 8 p.m. town halls for our campaign. Please join them. You can RSVP at vashiva.com/orientation. The other important you can do where we start taking control of our lives, that you start supporting one of us. I'm one of you, leaders, bottoms up. I didn't grow up in a Kennedy compound. I didn't grow up with golden plated toilet seats. I grew up like you guys. And as a part of that, make sure that you share this video. Hit the share button. Make sure you retweet it. Make sure you click the notify. Make sure you put comments on, because you know that I've been exposing their false heroes, Elon Musk and the Kennedys and all their not so obvious establishment people. So their retribution is to shadow ban me. My tweets used to get 500,000 views per day. Today, I'm lucky if I get 5,000 views per day. And then they put keywords if something starts going viral to stop that. So the way you can help is sign up as a volunteer so we get on the ground. The future is offline. I need you to go share these videos, get it out there, and become a Truth, Freedom, Health warrior. That's the ways you guys can help, contribute. Anyway, there you go. So anyway, I hope this is valuable. Be the light, shivaforpresident.com, truthfreedomhealth.com. Thank you, everyone. Be well, be the light. Have a good night, have a good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Sorry about that. Sorry, I'm back. Sorry about the no sound. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed that. So that I was saying the swarm. So you understand now who the swarm is. Thank you, everyone. What I was sharing was that, as I've said before, the fundamental way to shatter the swarm, is to raise our consciousness. Raising our consciousness collectively will have a massive effect on vaporizing their state of lower states of consciousness. Remember, there's more of us than them. And this video, the swarm video, really shares how a few of them are able to control us. And the way out of it is for you to understand the science of systems. And it's taken me a lifetime to organize this, but if you go to the same place, truthfreedomhealth.com, this website. Slogan is get educated or be enslaved. So I've organized an entire curriculum. We have a Truth Freedom Health framework. We have people all over the world. You can see how people have transformed themselves into become fighters. Here's a very interesting thing by Kay Fielding. He says, I jumped from supporting the Kennedys in the 1980s and 1990s to Obama in the 2000s and to Bernie in 2010s. And then to Trump in the 2020s. You see that some people just keep jumping from one political bed into another political bed, constantly getting screwed, and no pun intended. I had no direction or guidance. I stayed with Trump for 4 years, thinking I could, let me go back to this, thinking I could fix him, quote unquote. That plan worked out well. Operation Warp Speed, which Trump did. Fauci never getting fired. By the way, Trump gave Fauci a medal of, presidential medal 12 hours before Trump left office. Vaccines, masks, Ivanka, Jared, Hillary out free, Assange in jail. It's actually $8 trillion that was printed for the elites, and Jeff Bezos. If it wasn't for the Truth Freedom Health movement, I'd now be working for Tulsi Gabbard. Thank you for the Truth Freedom Health movement, for their intervention. They liberated me from my own addiction to these abusers. Get educated or be abused. And we know how to win. It was our movement, our campaign that exposed the election fraud, how machines flip votes. And what you'll recognize is that what the elites want people to do is they want us to be complacent, going quote unquote off grid, living on a farm the rest of our lives, meditating, or they want us to get desperate and do stupid things, or they want us to be in this left or right camp. And the way they do it is they take information and they only give you one or two sides of it. They don't tell you the truth. This leads into illusion and confusion. You fall into one of these camps. And the people who are doing this manipulation are not just the obvious establishment, but the not so obvious establishment of these kinds of folks. As I call the Fucker Carlsons, the Bernie Sanders, the Trumps, the Tulsi Gabbards, the people that act as though they're helping you. These are the people who manipulate you back into the swarm. And that is what our movement educates people on, this very, very powerful, evil that these people do. And the only way out of it is through wisdom. Well, you can't get to wisdom unless you know how to parse the information and interconnect stuff to, which is what's called knowledge. And that can only happen with the science of systems. When you do that, you get active, you get innovative, you become a leader, you get organized. And the process that you need to do when you go through this transformation, because a lot of people watch my videos and they go, wow, Dr. Shiva, I get it. And then they have a little bit of cognitive dissonance. What should they do? Well, they need to let go of the old, get off the plantation, and really, really understand these dynamics. And for all of you, I've created an infrastructure, courses, curriculum, a community, most importantly, a community of amazing people worldwide. So to learn more about this, in the interest of time, I encourage you all to come to our open house that I do every Thursdays. We do them right here online, 11 a.m. or 8 p.m. It's 2 sessions because we have people on East and West part of the world, right? So come to that. Meet amazing people, but get involved. In the meantime, go become a warrior scholar. If you're not ready to do that, come to our open house. But at the open house, you'll meet incredible people and you'll start recognizing there is a way out of it. There's a system where you learn the same system that the elites learn. You get trained and then you get on the ground. You get active, okay? That's why it's called a warrior scholar program. So I just wanted to give you that background. But the bottom line, as I was sharing today in closing, is that this is what's happening. America has been occupied by Zionism, and the American people are not given real leaders. These people aren't Americans, they're Zionists. Be it Booby Kennedy, be it Biden, or be it Trump, or be it DeSantis, or all of these presidents, or Jim Jordan, or Mike Johnson, they all work for Netanyahu. This is why they're inviting him to speak at the joint session of Congress. And the goal is to make all of us, the American working people, essentially serve Zionism. So the question at hand is that what you want to do? Is that what this country is about? And I say it isn't. This country, when I speak about Americans, the American working people believe in fundamental rights. They're not racist. They believe in the advancement of all people. Zionism is racism in the service of imperialism. So anyway, that is the dynamics, the system dynamics, layer by layer by layer. And you have the swarm, which really has its puppets at the highest level of puppet like Netanyahu, then it has other puppets like the members of the US Congress, it has other puppets, as I just shared here, the obvious establishment of people like the Kennedys and the Bushes, and it has the not so obvious establishment, Booby Kennedy, Trump, right? All these people, but they all serve the swarm and they all suck Zionist cock, and they want to make you suck Zionist cock or their cocks. Sorry to say it so crudely, but that is what this is about. And the question is, do you want to be a part of that cockzuckery, or do you want to get off the plantation? Our movement, Shiva for President, everyone should go to Shiva for President, get one of these bumper stickers and put it proudly on the back rear window of your car and say, I will not suck Zionist cock, I'm a free American. And that's what this is about. So we need to get on the ballot in every state. Go to Shiva for President, sign up, be a volunteer, donate. If you have a lot of money, donate. But when you donate, I give you lots of gifts. I give you the opportunity to become a Truth, Freedom, Health warrior. But go to truthfreedomhealth.com and become a warrior. Anyway, everyone, there you go. As I sign out, let me play you our campaign video, and hopefully it'll inspire you into action, action, action. Get involved, and for God's sake, do not become a part of the Zionist cockzuckery. Who would have ever thought I'd be running for president of the United States of America? I was born a low caste untouchable in India's caste system, a system of aristocracy, oppression, and racism. My name is Dr.SHIVA Ayyadurai. I'm an MIT PhD, a Fulbright scholar, a scientist, engineer, entrepreneur, and inventor. My family and I left India to come to America on my 7th birthday. I grew up in the working class neighborhoods of New Jersey, playing baseball, mowing lawns, painting houses, and coding software. My friends and neighbors are blacks, Italians, Irish, people of all races. As a 14-year-old, I wrote 50,000 lines of software code to create the world's first email system, and was awarded the first U.S. copyright for email, recognizing me as its official inventor at a time when copyright was the only way to protect software inventions. I did that long before I ever came to MIT, revealing that big innovations can occur anytime, any place, by anybody. Growing up, I saw politicians dividing us by race and religion in both America and India, to have us fighting each other while they remained safe in their gated communities and in their playgrounds of Hollywood, Martha's Vineyard, and Silicon Valley. I'm a fighter. I fought racism and exposed their imperialist wars, fought for workers, and put my life on the line against global corruption. I never wanted to run for political office. All that changed when I saw working Americans as never before being duped by the establishment and the not-so-obvious establishment. Across left and right, we were being sold out and made to forget why we came to America and why America existed. Lawyers, academics, billionaires, celebrities, and politicians, elites, Clintons, Kennedys, Bidens, Obamas, Bushes, black and white have hijacked America. They printed trillions for their friends. They delivered crumbling infrastructure, corruption, and racism. They've transferred trillions to themselves, dividing black and white, fear-mongering, and fake science. Lockdowns and censorship, dirty air, food, and water, pushing drugs upon us, making us sicker. We've been sold out. One set of rules for them and another for us. We deserve a warrior with a history of courage in putting everything on the line for you, who believes in you, not them, who has created a movement bottoms up for truth, freedom, health. I've exposed their lies at the right time, never waiting until it was popular. I've exposed their false gods who exist to lead you back to them. I've exposed their fake science of lockdowns and masking and provided you solutions to fight them and win and protect your immune system, saving millions. I exposed Fauci, galvanized the Fire Fauci campaign when others remained silent. When they stole our election, we sued the government and Twitter in our historic 2020 federal lawsuit, exposing in bare view the government and big tech censorship infrastructure, the unholy alliance between government and social media companies. Where was Elon and his grifters? They stood by the sidelines and did nothing. They did not use their megaphones to help us when it could have made a big difference. Now our movement grows for truth, freedom, health, independent of all of them. Every day, millions are learning the science of systems, the knowledge the elites do not want you to have, so you may learn how to think, stand up, and fight, independent of the establishment of left and right and their fake heroes. Now it's time for you to join the movement, to win back America, to win back truth, win back freedom, win back your health. That's why I'm running for President of the United States. This race is about you. This race is about truth, freedom, health versus power, profit, control. We've had enough. They think we'll fall in line and vote again for their lawyers, celebrities, billionaires, and chosen ones from above. We choose our heroes from below, from the rank and file, who do what is right at the right time, not when it's convenient and popular.
They can never represent us. What America needs is a movement by the working people, for the working people, who are educated, organized, decentralized, and fight for independence from their systems of control. And that movement exists. It's ready for you. We don't need them. We need us to go bottoms up, neighbor to neighbor. My journey, your journey are all the same. It's our time. It's time we had one of us. It's time to win back truth, freedom, health, to win back America. Be part of this historic movement all the way to our victory on November 5th, 2024. If you're an American citizen, pledge your vote now for Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, the independent candidate for U.S. President. No matter where you live, you can be a part of this. Volunteer as little as 20 minutes a day. Don't delay. This is Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, and I approve this message, paid for by Dr. Shiva for President.
All right, everyone, thank you for the very kind comments. I want you to, someone said, let's go. One of the way we can go is, simple way is, go get these bumper stickers. And they're only $5. We don't make any money off of them. It's really to make sure it's affordable to everyone. But take one of these bumper stickers and put it on the back rear glass of your car. 100,000 people see them. We want to get like 10 to 20 million of these out there. So please go do that. Because when you do that, you're saying that you're taking a principled stand. You're being a real American. The American people take principled stands. We don't do things opportunistically. Scumbags and the swarm and Zionists do things that are opportunistic. Opportunism means you don't do what's right, you do what's convenient. What's right is Dr. Shiva for president. What's right is we know that all of these elections are selections. We know that they quote unquote win their election. So it doesn't matter what they do. The issue is, what do we do? And what we must do is to choose one of us. And you have frankly, the first time you've had a real choice for one of us, and someone right in front of you, me. Someone who got all the degrees, someone who came bottoms up, someone who's achieved, and someone who never forgot where I came from. And you guys deserve that. We deserve that. You deserve that. So get involved. Let's get millions of these out there, and let's shatter the swarm. All right, everyone. Best to you and your families. Be well, be the light. We need to build a bottoms up movement. Go to shivaforpresident.com and volunteer.